Conversate for a few.
Welcome to the next episode of Conversate For A Few. I'm Jonna.
I'm Alan. This is not a podcast about classical music.
Absolutely is not. This is a podcast about hip hop. What we doing today, bro?
We talking about why hip hop songs are getting shorter.
Okay. Yeah. So there's got to be a ton of reasons.
It's a million. I think it's a million different reasons why. And just like give background, we're talking in relation to past times, like before entering into an extreme digital boom technology era. Prior to that, even we say early 2000, mid 2000, we were still getting songs 3.5 minutes or longer in some instances.
Yeah, but I think this is one of those situations where you had a conversation about hip hop because hip hop has become the dominant genre of music in pop culture, right? But I think ultimately all songs across all genres have become shorter. I don't know if they're following suit of the dominant genre being hip hop. You see what I'm saying? Or if music itself is getting shorter for other reasons.
Right. So I think ironically, I think it's both of them. I think hip hop has had such a dominant influence, right? On, like, when we talk about in an episode, if you haven't heard it, go back and listen to it. But hip hop being the greatest hack ever. Yeah. Right. And how it's influenced all parts of the world more than any other genre of music. Not only did, when we talk about that, I think sometimes we may negate the fact that hip hop as a genre also has influenced other genres. So because if you look at a genre that's being successful and you're in another genre, you say, okay, I can take that path and be successful. So I think part of the reason why songs all around the board are getting shorter is because they have followed suit behind hip hop a little bit. But then also I think there's some technical reasons also why.
Yeah, I agree. I think I totally agree with what you said. You can't listen to any genre of music and not hear triplet hi-hats, 808s, at least hi-hats on the 16, 808 drums, 808 snares. You gonna hear it on, I don't care if it's country, rock, pop, maybe not jazz so much. But these not the classic ones, but the more modern genres of music, they all have incorporated sonically hip hop. So it's only imaginable that they would incorporate the structure of song that hip hop carries also. So if that's gotten shorter, then I can see it spreading into all the other genres, just like, because they pilfer, the other genres pilfer what's freshest to stay current. Right. That's just what it is. I got a question for you. How do you feel about the length in songs though? Do you like the length of songs changing? Do you appreciate shorter songs, or do you yearn for a day when artists were a little bit more expressive and felt like it seemed like they had more to say because songs were longer?
Right. So I'm on both sides of the fence. Like, I wish sometimes, so if the song is good, then naturally you want more, right? Like, anything that you're consuming is good, you always want more of it. So if a song is 2 minutes and 30 seconds and it's fire, and naturally I just would like to hear more, right?
Yeah.
If the artist got over everything and expressed everything they needed to express, with it being short, right? With that time. But if I can listen to your song and I can hear unfinished thoughts and you really didn't hit the mark, then I feel like
short.
Yeah, and it's short.
Okay.
Then I feel like you're just doing that for sake of what is acceptable now. Which you know what I mean, which has to deal largely with, which I'm got some points about that, but people attention span.
Yeah. Well, I put it while you were making that statement, it made me think in today's era, right?
Mm-hmm.
Uh, in today's era, if I give you a song and you love it and it leaves you wanting more, right? It's to my advantage to leave you wanting more because you're gonna just play it again. I need you to play it again.
Right.
I need you to play it 1,500 times for it to count as one record sale.
Right. Okay. There you get into the bigger point. Because what I was going to say is if it's good, I don't care if it's 2 minutes or 8 minutes, I am going to play it again. And I'm going to keep playing it. Right. But if you have, if you put out a project, let's say you put out an EP and it's got 7 songs, damn it, all of them can't be 8 minutes. It's going to take people time to get through your list to get them streams counted. It'll be easier if you set it or make all your songs 2 minutes, 30 seconds.
Mm-hmm.
I can get through it a lot faster and I can listen to it more times. See, so then we getting into quality, quantity. Like then we kind of get into that.
We getting into art versus commerce.
Yeah, art versus commerce.
At that point,
essentially, yeah.
Yeah, that's what it seems like. So if
it
becomes less about whether that artist gets that thought expressed, or whether they feel like they've gotten to the point where they have a product that is viable for marketplace, but short enough to draw you in to make you listen multiple times.
Right. The problem with that is the problem with sitting down doing an album or EP or just one song, a project like that, is the fact that you're chopping off half of your creative process.
Mm.
And I'll give you and let me say this, I'm an artist that when I started out rapping, right,
mm-hmm.
I didn't know how to count bars. My first song I ever recorded, I didn't know how to count bars then.
Really?
And I didn't. Yeah, I didn't, and I did not care to learn. Right? It wasn't until a few years down the line, I understood what bars is. I understood, but originally I didn't, and I actually liked that because maybe I don't want my verse to be only 16. Maybe I want it to be 22 bars. I like to write until I feel like the verse for this particular concept is finished.
Right.
Then the verse is done.
Right.
And then we can do the hook. And then maybe my next verse might be 12. I don't know. You know what I mean? But I like to write. I like the freedom to write what I feel and not have constraints.
Yeah.
Because I remember, and you can remember, it wasn't always people saying 16, spit a hot 16. That became a thing.
Facts.
Right? Prior to a 16, let me hear 16, spit 16. But when I originally started rhyming and the music that was out at that time, no one was talking about 16.
Nah.
I mean, it's many songs that are well over, some from our favorite artists that they didn't stick to a regimen of 16, 4 or 8 bars, 16 like that.
Nah,
it didn't feel like that.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
It's funny because I'm trying to remember when I learned how to count bars. Well, I guess that's the thing.
When you start making beats.
Nah, I learned how to count bars in band.
Okay.
In 6th grade. I didn't realize I was applying that to writing rhymes until I tried to teach somebody how to write rhymes.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? I can remember now teaching somebody how to write rhymes, but I didn't realize that I was using bars.
Right.
You know what I mean? But inherently, because I was taught bars. So I was able to use them. I was taught bars outside of the context of hip hop.
Got you.
So when I started creating hip hop in that way, that was a natural part of what was already there.
Mm-hmm.
I guess. So it didn't never occur to me to learn to count bars in hip hop because I already had bars with me.
Right.
You know what I mean? And the funny thing is most people, this is a broad statement, so maybe people gonna listen to be like, yo, that's not true. But I feel like most hip hop listeners, I'll put it to you that way, just the average hip hop listener, they don't understand that bars absolutely don't really have anything to do with hip hop.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
You know what I mean? Like bars is a hip hop slang, but doesn't really have anything to do with hip hop.
Right.
You know, it's a thing that you use to create music, and hip hop is music, but having bars and the, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's not a hip hop thing. Most people, I bet you most people have absolutely no idea that bars is like an actual musical thing that has nothing to do with hip hop. We just use bars to count.
Right.
You know. But anyway, that's a good point you was making, that you wrote with the freedom of expressing yourself.
And when I felt like the verse was done, when I got out everything I wanted to say, then that was the end of the verse. Right.
Yeah.
So when you do, like, when you're doing music like that, to me, you're free to create and really say how you feel. And I feel like you get a better thought out, more planned, and just a higher quality and more music with integrity when it's done that way, as opposed to every time. So I'm arguing two things. I'm arguing against the only doing 16 when that became a thing, as well as the new format when these DSPs came into play, like trying to make it short songs
Yeah.
so you can get X amount of spins. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? And people get through it faster. I think when you do that, you sacrifice a lot of things. You sacrifice your own creativity, inspiration, integrity. Just so much get thrown to the side, whether purposely or whether it's on purpose or not on purpose. That's just going to happen because you are forcing yourself to confine within, a structure that naturally you wouldn't do. Naturally, you write until you're done.
Right. You write until you get to your chest, until you feel like you've exhaled.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like that's what it should feel like once you're done with the verse. You've
Right.
exhaled that thought, and now you can move on to the next thought that may be connected to that, and then you exhale that one. And if the first one is all, then see, this is the thing, right? I'm not against short songs, like what you said. If you express the thought, and I feel like you got to the end of it, and this was what was meant to be said, and you said it. You know what I mean? I don't need you to rap for 4 minutes. You know, but like you said, I do want to know that you had the intention of saying something, and you did say it.
Right.
To its completion. You know what I'm saying? You completed a thought.
Yeah.
But you and me both know that most music, and I ain't gonna say nowadays, most hip hop, right, that you're gonna run into is communicating the same message.
Yeah.
So there's absolutely no reason for me it doesn't take me 4 minutes to express this thought anymore, because I'm pretty much expressing a theme that is the blanket of what you see if you look at the face of hip hop.
Yeah.
So you see what I'm saying? So it's homogenized now. So you're not getting what Busta's trying to say versus what Q-Tip is trying to say versus what, you know what I mean? That's not what you're getting no more. And that happened not in this era. I think that started to happen a longer ago. I put it to you like this: if during the from Jay-Z to 50 Cent, from when Jay-Z got popping, let's say from Jay-Z Nas, when that started, 94 to 96, that little era, right?
Yeah.
All the way up into 2005.
Okay.
2005, 2006, 2007, right? Around in there. If we'd have had streaming during those eras, you'd have had the same content problem. You understand what I'm saying? Homogenized content.
Yeah.
So I'm not saying it started during this era.
Yeah.
And with that homogenized content, if they'd have had reason to make their songs shorter, they would have.
Right. I get what you're saying, but this is what's funny is that everybody that are the new artists or old artists that's doing it a new way, that's feeling like I gotta make my song short now because for the plays, right, the spins. The funny thing is you got to be basically a Drake to the fifth power to make really any money off your streams anyway.
That's true.
Like, you know how many streams you have to get? You still, I don't care. You still only so you sacrificing all of this, but you still only getting fractions of a penny.
So you saying you sacrificing it for what? You might
Right,
as well stick to your guns and do your art.
right, because you still going to have to get a zillion streams to equal a dollar.
If
Essentially.
if your goal was to be an artist in the first place, most of these people's in today's climate, goal ain't to sell the music as art, ain't to make their money off the music in the first place. The music is a vehicle to the attention so that they can sell something else based on the attention that they got
Right.
into
So
this audience.
yeah, I don't like that.
So, but that's just another reason. But
that took something we love and made it be a commercial for a product coming out later. I don't like it.
Commercials are 30 seconds to a minute long.
Right, and that the song's about to end up that way.
But that's just one of the major reasons
Right.
to the title of the episodes, why hip hop songs getting shorter.
Right. I want to speak to a point because anytime this has come up, in the past, people talk about how songs were longer. Now, how the songs are short, right? And one of the main things I hear everyone say, older people and new people in hip hop, this is one of the things that everyone says. Well, people don't got the attention span to sit and listen to no 3.5, 4 minute song, blah, blah, blah. No, I disagree with that. Everyone tries to use that. I'm gonna knock that down so easy. People do what their mind is trained to do.
Yeah.
So it's not that we just had such great attention spans back then. It was less technology. Like when we first started dealing with internet, I could just click a button and get right on whatever. But back then you had dial-up, so you had to wait. Like
That's
it
right.
was certain stuff when you was forced in a position, you conform because you had to wait. So I'm just saying we're malleable. Like the people can listen, they can do what the mind is trained to. Like COVID hit, nobody was wearing masks. Everyone wearing masks now.
Right.
So it became a norm. You can be trained into things.
To do, yeah, for sure.
Right. So I don't like that argument with people attention span. No, if Jay drop a song or any artist that you like, if you like it, you're gonna listen to it.
Right. I mean, that whole attention span argument is pretty bogus on its face when when movies still exist, podcasts exist. These are things that you sit and pay attention to for an hour, for 2 hours, for 3 hours at a time. And they still do millions of numbers. So don't tell me you can't make a song that's 5 minutes versus a song that's 3 minutes because people's attention span. That's ridiculous.
Right. And let me say, on that note, and I always use this as a point of reference, is the Furious Five, Grandmaster Flash, The Message, right? Now that song is, I know there may be songs longer than that, but like back then, that was probably the longest song. It's 7 minutes and 12 seconds, The Message.
Yeah.
Now, I know, I love that joint so much. I listen to the whole song every time I listen to it. Yeah. But the point is, I know every single vocal on that track. I can tell you every single word on that song. Right. And it's engaging, and it draws you in so much. The beat is so fly, the way they rhyming is so ill.
Yeah.
Like, I don't even notice the time anymore. And that's my point. When we call it, when you, as a producer, a writer, whatever, as a creator, you call it zoning out.
Yep.
Time don't even matter because what you're doing is so pleasurable, it's so euphoric.
Yep.
You know what I mean? The construct of time it ceases to exist.
Yeah.
See, if you're making real good music,
Yeah,
You know what I mean? Or you're enjoying something real good. You don't even the time pass it that don't even matter.
that's a fact. That's a fact. I mean,
So let's just be honest. Some of y'all don't have good product. And you
most.
know you don't have good product, and you know I ain't gonna sit there and listen to your 4 minute song because you know you don't even have 4 minutes of content or anything substantive to talk about.
Right.
You barely got 2 minutes. The 2 minutes that you do got is just, as you said, it's a recycled thing that is the face of hip hop,
Right.
who has become the face of hip hop in modern times. So
Yeah, that's it's funny. You're absolutely right. The songs have gotten worse, shorter, but the albums have gotten longer.
and gotten longer, but we get more of them.
That's a fact. But you gotta expect to get more of
Idea,
them if the quality is lower.
right?
Like, there's no reason for me to give you. It don't take me 2 years. You know what I'm saying? It don't take nobody 2 years to
Album full of two and
me.
a half 3 minute subpar songs.
On the last episode, we talked about how much we enjoyed Dumb and Dumber from Key Glock and Young Dolph, right? But it don't
Right,
take 2 years to make that. That's not
right,
beats, rhymes, and life. It's
absolutely.
not Midnight Marauders, so it doesn't take 2 years to make those.
Yeah,
Um,
that's a fact.
so it sounds like we trashing today's music. It ain't that. We enjoy it.
It's not. It's great. It's gradation because see, it depends on what you're doing, right? Like this is a funny example, but it's always good because it drives home the point. Like, how much knowledge does it take for a person to learn how to sweep a floor? How many? Not
Right.
much. You can train and teach a person to do that in a few minutes. How much does it take for a person to become, a person that's doing fries at McDonald's? Maybe a little bit more, not that much.
Right.
But then how much time and knowledge does it take to become a doctor?
Right.
Like 8 years, right? So the point is, the more complicated the task is, the more complex it is, the more knowledge and the more time has to go into it. So to become a Nas, to
Right.
write at that level, you know what I mean? It's going to take more than, you ain't going to be able to give me 5 projects in 1 year
Nah.
if that's the mark. You know
Nah.
what I mean? But the type of flow and rhymes that most people are delivering, it
Mm-hmm.
don't take much knowledge. It don't take much time to deliver that.
Yeah, that's
So
just true.
I can give you I can give you 3 albums in a month if you want me to.
If that's all I got to do. If all I got to
Yeah,
do is stick to the theme, I ain't got to
yeah,
give you nothing new. I ain't got to give you nothing new from me, really. You see what I'm
yeah.
saying? Other than. But yeah, so I would imagine, though, on that point,
Hmm.
I guess we already made this point, but why would my songs get shorter if that's all I got to give you?
Then I guess it would.
Like, if that's all the game is requiring of me, then that's the difference. Well, is it the difference? Does the game require less now, or could you have gotten by with less back then? We just didn't know it, and we were just doing what was, you know what I'm saying? Because hip hop was
I think
less a commodity at the time, so it was just more people doing art. But then
right.
we both know it got to a point where the line of art and commodity got super blurred. It
Hmm.
was still some people with talent doing the commodity part,
Hmm.
you know.
Hmm.
And it was street music, so it didn't seem as much like a commodity, but it was getting commodified like hell. You know what I'm saying? The whole Dipset, the whole
Right.
Wayne, even Jay-Z, you know what I'm saying? 50, you know what I'm saying? Like, when it got to that level, from the outside looking in, we could still see the nuance,
Right.
right? Based on how they rapped, how they presented themselves, you know what I'm saying? The cool fact, just like the kids can still see the nuance today.
Hmm.
You
Hmm.
see what I'm saying? So, like, we can still see the nuance, but we
Yeah.
can understand now, looking back, how homogenized it was from the
Yeah.
outside looking in.
Right.
Based on our age and where we are now, we
Hmm.
can super see the homogenization of today, but they, like us, can see the gradation in a way that we don't necessarily. well, when I say we, I mean the greater public. We can kind of recognize the gradation more than others, and we acknowledge it more than others. But from the outside looking in, there's no gradation at all. And thematically, there's hardly any gradation at all. Flow-wise, there's hardly any gradation at all. So the product has gotten even more simplified and packaged.
Yeah.
You know.
Became McDonald's.
Huh?
It became McDonald's.
It became McDonald's.
Yeah, we went from boutique shop to McDonald's.
Yeah. I would guess that whole era I said from like, what would you call it? If this is McDonald's, what was like from 96 to 2006?
You said what? 90 what?
If this is McDonald's now,
right?
What was 96 to 2006?
96 to 2006. I would still I would say it was on the. I could see McDonald's peeking in. Now I'm gonna tell you the personal, right? Me, 1999, my senior year of high school. I was watching Puff. I'm watching certain stuff Jay did. I'm like, wait a minute.
Shit, it's changing.
I see what's about to happen. I don't like this.
Shit was char grill.
I see they about to package this up, and this is about to be super. It's about to be made easy and distributed all over the world, and everyone gonna be able to do it, and everyone gonna jump on this simple thing so. But I will say this: in that time, even though I could see certain stuff on the horizon,
right?
You know what I mean? But it was still. I feel like it was still. It was still a degree of integrity there, but it was artistry.
Yeah, it was some artistry there.
Because let me tell you something. I hate it then. I love it now and understand it more now, right? I remember the day that Mace's first video came out. Can't Hold Me Down. And I'm looking at this, and you know my reaction. I'm looking at this, and I'm like, "What the fuck is this dude doing,
Me too.
Man? He messing up hip hop. Like that's me. That's
too.
what I'm saying.
Me too.
I was like, this commercial shit, man. Nobody want to hear that. But in all truth, if you compare what I was talking about I thought commercial then to now.
Yeah.
That joint that's some good MCing.
He was MCing his ass off.
But let me say that. But let me go back, right? Because it's proving my point. So even at that time that I didn't like that. In retrospect, looking at it, when you asked me what was going on, even the commercial stuff was actually dope. It actually had some time and thought and effort put in it. Yo, Mace killed that joint. Do you hear me?
Yeah.
He murdered that.
So much so that
I hated it and I still knew the verses.
That and so much so that current MCs of today, when they really want to get in a bag, that's the flow they use.
Right.
When Drake want to get in his bag and just start dicing up on niggas, he go to Mace flow. Yeah.
Yo, my man said, spend time at HAWA. Mace, would you please stop smoking Lala? Puff, while I try. I'm a thug. I'm a die hard. Niggas ain't worthy to rock my jersey. Yo, he was going crazy.
Yo, going crazy. And somebody listening to you right now that don't know Mace, that's of the age that's a Drake fan, was like, damn, why he rapping like Drake?
Yeah, no. They took page out of Mace, but Mace the father of a lot.
Bro, a lot.
Facts.
A lot.
Nobody.
I'm gonna tell you, Mace was finessing Big Flow.
Yeah, he was. But you know what? He was good at it. He was good.
Fuck. That's why niggas is using Mace Flow now.
Right.
Yeah. Mace was nice as shit, yo.
He's nice
but
now.
It's just the way he was presented. We didn't want to respect it.
Right.
It was the presentation that we just was like, yo, fuck that shit. We not with it. But when you dial it back, you couldn't deny he was rapping.
Right. That's what I'm saying.
I just don't like that.
Right. Exactly.
That's what it was. But you couldn't really deny he was rapping his ass off. That nigga was rapping.
He's rapping. Right.
Bouncing.
Right. Yeah.
So this is something I heard, and I don't know if it really relates to this conversation, but it might, right? I heard this on Bomani Jones' podcast. He was talking to Michael Smith. And then, you know, they got to talking about music.
Okay.
So, the music, not the music that was out when we were kids, our parents' music, right? The way we heard that sonically, how old it sounded to us, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you could say, what year would you put that music in? Not the music they were listening to, but their music, their oldies.
So
Their oldies probably came out in the what, 60s?
60s probably. Their oldies would be the 60s.
Yeah, the 60s and the 70s would be their oldies, right?
Mm-hmm.
Our oldies are the 90s and the 80s.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So our music to them, today's era, sounds like 70s music did to us.
But the funny thing is, I love my parents' music.
Yeah, me too.
Like I like all of like even the music they was listening to when I was a child, right?
Yeah.
Was dope, obviously, because they're listening to current stuff at that time.
Right.
But I don't know current. I'm new in the world. I'm 6,
exactly.
I'm 7, 8, so it's all new to me. But even as I got older and understood, okay, is all these different past genre, like not even genres, but past times of genre of music that genres went through. Like listening to that, I like all of their old stuff. You know what I mean? The stuff they came up on. I liked it. I never like. And I'm not saying every single thing I like from back in the day. I ain't saying that because I've heard stuff I don't like.
Right.
But as a whole, to me, the further you go back, to me, the more soul you get.
It is. But I have a caveat, right?
Yeah.
In that. When we went back, right? The music that we went back to wasn't our music.
Right.
It was completely detached, apart from samples.
Yes.
From our music.
Yeah.
When they go back to our oldies, it's a version of their music.
Right. Yeah, I get what you're saying.
So you got to imagine how old that shit sounds. Because it's a version of what they do. What they were doing ain't even a version of what the fuck we was doing.
Right.
You see, we was doing a separate thing. So
right. I get you. Absolutely.
That's
now. I understand and agree 100%, but I only have one like slight thing to offer, which is especially even for me, hell, even in the 90s, moving. All right, let me say like even in 96, right, when Reasonable Doubt came out, I like when I'm think back and I'm remembering some of the Fat Boy songs, I'm like that's super old and dated. I'm probably never going to listen to that again. You know what I mean? And anything like you talking about something 81, 79, that rap, that was old then. So I know that sounds old. But see, because it was a new genre, it's still finding its way. It's still growing, developing, and evolving. I don't think you only get a few pieces of timeless music from those points, right? When you got up to a certain point, like, for instance, like what people call the golden age, which we already dealt with that, but on a prior podcast, but like to me, it's not too much difference sound wise. Like, okay, like I'm just using this as an example, like Nas, If I Rule the World, or Jay-Z, Dead Presidents. It doesn't sound like too crazy, like, oh my God, it's so old. Like when I just heard Lemon Pepper Freestyle, right? There's not so much of a difference. I'm saying tempo and flowing and stuff like that.
To us, because of what I think to us because of the years of consumption that we've had.
Right. I'm coming with biases. But biases I can't get by because I lived those years. So it's probably I'm filtering information through that.
And that's exactly what I'm saying. They didn't live through those. You see what I'm saying? So it's like, and I'm gonna tell you the truth. for the people that I'm talking about,
Yeah.
the lemon pepper freestyle is gonna sound old to them.
Right. I get you.
You see what I'm saying? That's an old version of hip hop. It ain't nowhere
Big.
new where it's headed.
Right.
Where the masses of kids that pick up a microphone is not doing what Drake is doing when he's traditionally rapping.
Right.
He's not doing what Rick Ross is doing as a traditional rapper. Most of these kids ain't even doing what Migos was doing. They doing something more left than that.
Yeah, that's scary.
It's just true. You know what I mean? Like Rod Wave.
Yeah. Yeah, I heard it.
Yeah, Moray. That ain't even, you know what I mean? It's cadence wise, but that's if somebody was to say he's not a rapper, if he was to say I'm not a rapper, I'm a singer, you would take it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Just
I was
like
gonna
Post.
say in contemporary, like he's like he's borderline contemporary R&B artist.
Yeah. And it's just blending is all I'm
Yeah,
saying.
yeah,
So I guess I talked about the difference in songs and the way they see the eras. I
yeah,
think part of what's going on is the sense of punk that is with youth and in music. I think that's a part of why songs might be getting shorter. You know what I mean? Because it's almost the opposite of what we hear or what we heard or what existed before.
mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? If there's any natural art and you know what I'm saying, fervor that's coming out in the music, I think that's what it is. It's like, yo, we not doing that old shit. We don't need the song to be 4 minutes. We don't need, you know what I'm saying? Like, we
Right,
doing 6 songs a night, nigga. What is y'all talking about? You know what I'm saying?
right.
Ain't none of us writing nothing down. We going in there and dropping and punching.
Yeah, yeah,
You know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? So it's just a whole different zone. So I think the fact that it's grown to a, you know what I mean, like the culture has changed so much. The culture of creating the music has changed so much
yeah.
that that's a result of the songs getting shorter too. You know,
Mm-hmm.
um,
Right,
I can't imagine going in and trying to and creating a song that's 5 minutes long the way they create now.
right.
It would that is the way they create songs ain't even conducive to a 5 minute song.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And you got to think our songs might have breaks for the music.
Right, right.
That don't exist no more. These dudes start with the hook, end with the hook. That's it. Let's go. You know,
Mm-hmm.
it's just it's a different animal, you know. So, but yeah, I definitely that's one thing I miss though about that songs have gotten shorter is that you get less artists attempting to use music as much as they do the verse to get the expression off of the song.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like the music is just as much like just one song that I feel like kind of did that is the Nipsey and Jay-Z joint where the third verse there would have been a third verse. The song is 4 minutes long,
Mm-hmm.
but there is no third verse and the beat and the song just rock.
Right, right.
You know, to
Yeah.
me that's a musical statement. It
Mm-hmm.
ain't necessarily the producer showing off, but it's a respect. It's almost a moment of silence to Nipsey.
Yeah, yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Because it would be Nipsey first verse, Jay-Z, Nipsey third verse.
Right,
You know what I mean? But we're
right.
going to leave the third verse blank.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And the song ended up being 4 minutes long. They could have easily cut that song off at 3 minutes.
Right.
You know? But it's just
Yeah,
that kind of stuff, that kind of expression. Like, it ain't that the beat changed so much it did. But you know what I mean?
yeah.
It's that kind of thing that I think is missing. The
Right.
using the music to tell a story. If you're using the music as a part of telling the story, uh, the song is gonna be longer because you got to have time for the music to speak.
Mm-hmm.
Just like the piece of music, even though the piece of music I sent you last night, that World sent me yesterday,
Right.
the music speaks for itself. It tells a bit of the story before he starts to speak.
Right.
Right.
Right. Mm-hmm.
Even in that though, that piece of music is only 2 minutes and 48 seconds long.
Yeah.
But I felt like he said, I don't need a hook. I felt like he said everything he needed to say. Could I stand? But it ain't. It's just he rapped the entire time.
Right.
But he said what needed to be said.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't need it to be 4 minutes long. I don't need it. I do want another song to come on after that.
Yeah.
But I will say this though, it did make me play it again. Like it went off, I played it again, so it works.
Right. Right.
And that and it's not just because I made the beat. You know what I mean? Like I wanted to hear it again. You know what I mean? But it's one of them things. So I see that it does work.
But if it was bad, would have played it?
If it was bad, I wouldn't have played it all the way through.
Right. See?
Yeah. So
the thing is most of the music that's coming out that's a lot shorter. Is it mostly good or bad?
it's mostly bad because I don't play it all the way through.
All right.
Yeah.
So that ain't working.
That it ain't working. You're right. You're right. It only works if the song is good. They'll play it again if the song is good. I don't give a damn how long it is.
Right. That's kind of the punchline to it all. Yeah.
So DSPs, God knows. So okay, they will. We know. We said yes. They will play it again if the song is good. Will they play it no matter how long it is? Right? Mm-hmm. Will they play it again if it's mid and short? Today's listening public. Because I think the music that
good and short.
Because I think the thing is our expectation of good is different.
Yeah, it for sure is
so
different.
what we're gonna allow to play out for 3 to 5 minutes is a lot less than I think average. So
right. So I would say yes. If it's mid and good, yes.
So it does work. Because what we call them bad, I think most people enjoy. So it's probably mid.
I guess you go with that. But my point is, hold on now, because we did say that rap today is basically a commercial that really gets you to buy, about really buying the music, but it's to get you to get some other product, right? Or get attention on them and market some other product. But my point is, but everyone wants to get money. Well, you're not getting money either way from the streaming. Right. So you can make 3 or 5, 2 or whatever. That's going to be the same. And that's another point too, is that, okay, if you don't care about the stream, then you might as well take more time and do something dope. If you just want to get me to get something else, if you this is just your commercial for something else, then I don't even, you know what I mean?
Yeah, but I don't think you gather attention that way. In today's, I don't think a marketing team would tell you to take your time as a way to gather attention. I think a marketing team would tell you being present, presenting content, being active is a way. So you see what I'm saying? You always got something for people to come see you. That's why you're getting people so much work. You know what I mean? So you're right. So if you do care, you treat it more like a product.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You always got a fresh burger for the audience to eat from McDonald's.
Yeah. See, this is funny. Certain things, everything that our exchange about this so far, all of it has told me is that people really don't give a damn about music no more. That's it.
Most people don't, yo. Am I making an assumption about most artists, or I feel like I honestly feel like most people that want to become rappers today want to be famous, or want to be lit, or want to be popping. They don't necessarily want to be dope rappers.
Yeah.
So if they ain't getting lit, they gonna find another way to get lit.
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying? A rapper gonna rap. That's what he gonna do. He gonna figure it out. He gonna figure it out rapping though. You see what I'm saying? So I don't feel like I don't feel like you going I don't feel like you're gonna get the effort because people, you know what I'm saying, like the attention is
The
going
motive
somewhere
of
else.
doing art is different.
Hmm?
I said we're not going to get the effort. I said, and I cut you off saying because the motive for doing the art is different, and that's
Right.
what it is.
The motive for
Like,
doing the art is different. It's something you said earlier about expressing yourself. It made me think something, right? Like it's getting the whole thing. It's like Monet was an expressing this painter, right? If I'm not
yeah,
wrong.
hmm
Uh, there's a big difference between a Monet that was literally an expression and the art that you see in a hotel.
the hotel is funny. The hotel art is not even a topic of conversation, other than to say it's terrible.
Yeah.
But not even it's terrible. It's just like, oh man, just a generic piece of work, you know.
If you walk in a hotel and you feel comfortable and you don't mention the art, they did a good job.
hmm
If you don't mention the art in the hotel, they did a good job. You see what I'm saying?
We talked about art in the hotel.
Exactly. So you go to pretty decent hotels because they do a good job keeping it out your way without putting some complete trash on the wall, which some places do. You ever been to a microtel?
Nah.
You notice the art in the microtel.
uh,
Yeah. So, but
yeah,
that's the thing. Like, you don't go to you don't go to a hotel looking thinking it's a museum.
yeah.
You feel me? So
And the hotel are not buying museum worthy art to put on their walls.
exactly. But most people are presenting the work for the masses, which is going to be the hotel.
That's a great analogy. I like that.
Yeah, which is going to be the hotel. But you only stand for a little while too.
Right.
You feel me? It's a one hitter. You gone. The longest you gonna stay is 2 weeks. You know what I mean? You out of there.
hmm
You know.
Which is fun. I don't know why. It just made me think about Cassidy song Hotel.
Yeah. That should have been shorter song.
Oh, it should have been wall art. Yeah.
It was wall art.
Yeah.
It Walmart wall art, bro. That's all that shit was. He said himself though. I actually just listened to a Cassidy podcast yesterday where he talked us. I can't even remember who it was he talked to,
hmm
and they asked him about that era, and he was on J Records, and that's why that happened. Like they didn't have no real hip hop. They was
Right.
his songs had R. Kelly, some other female singer, like everything he had. Melanie Fiona, I think, was the person that was on it. I don't know who. I think maybe, but then he came with "I'm a Hustler." You know what I'm saying? Which was the more street thing, and that kind of worked for him. But that other stuff, they was trying to mace him out, son.
Yeah. But he was no Mace.
No, he was no Mace. He didn't have no Puff around him neither. I don't know that
Nah.
Mace would have been Mace without Puff.
Right. That's true too.
I wonder what the people like Puff and Jay and Dr. Dre and even Swizz, that like I wonder what those people think about the fact that songs are getting shorter and shorter.
Mm.
We know what Kanye think about it. He put it at the
Yeah.
beginning of his song. You
hmm
need 2 or 3 minutes. 2 minutes, you do that 2 times, and we out of here. You know what I'm saying? It's done. You got a song, or whatever he said in that intro. So you know how
Yeah.
he feel about it. Let's get in and out.
Yep.
So I don't know, man. I'm not against them though. I'm gonna be honest with you. As a
Well, if it's going to be hotel wall art, then I'm definitely not against it being short.
I'm not against it being short if it's like I put it to you this way.
Yeah, I'm not against it either way though, because if it's good and it's short, I mean, I can't be mad. It's good.
Yeah,
So, we,
I
you
think
know,
I think sometimes the way when I hear a beat, right? When I finish a
yeah,
beat, there's a flow to the music right?
Mm-hmm.
And if the music flows right, and it feels like, damn, the story should be told in this length of time,
Mm-hmm.
because the way the music is constructed, you see what I'm saying? Then I think sometimes it makes more sense to like maybe either leave out a verse, leave off a third verse, or do a shorter hook, or start with the, you know what I mean? Do it a way that makes the song feel the way the music needs to feel. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
got you. Yeah,
But I think that's a producer thing. You said I don't
yeah,
know that a artist, but see, I think that's sometimes what Kanye does. Like he'll get, there's probably more verse there than what you end up hearing, but the music tells a certain story, so he cuts verses.
right. Now, if you in one of the recent Sahara interviews, I'm sure you saw with him, bigging up Kanye for a lot of things they did, but he was talking about the process
Mm-hmm.
and writing for him. He said that he's done, and it wasn't a hyperbole either. He said he had did like 60 verses for
Mm-hmm.
one song.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And he said because he want to make sure he get the best, right? The best verse, and there's nothing, no other, nothing else can be better than that, right? So
Mm-hmm.
he said it's been times that he'd be like, he'd tell him like, yo, the first one he wrote, like, nah, that's the one. He said, but he'll like get him to write 60 verses or
Yeah.
something crazy
Yeah.
amount of verses just to go through them to say, yeah, that first one, we're gonna go with that first one. And then he was like, damn, man, I told you that from the beginning. But Kanye is approaching it from a producer perspective.
Yeah.
And as bad as that sound to some people here, it's like, yo, why are you getting to write so many verses? It's just a song. But see, he's making masterpiece. He's
Yeah.
making masterpiece music. You do that, but that sounds like a Puff thing.
Right.
Yo, you know what your next line is? Then that ain't the line to say.
This ain't, and if you doing that in too many of these verses, we throwing all 30 of them out. You understand what I'm saying? So I get it. This
Yeah.
is the way that song sounds in my head. I'm a producer. I hear this song in my head. I know you the artist, but the point is to make art.
Mm-hmm.
Let me produce the art. You be the artist, and when we finish, we have a whole piece of total art here. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, I get it. I get it. I've done it. You know what I'm saying? Like not chop people versus afterwards, but
Right.
tailor people while they were writing the song.
Yeah, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? To come up with what sounded like I felt like the song needed to be, which is more production than what most people think is happening in the lab. It is actually more production than most artists allow.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And a real artist,
Mm-hmm.
you know what I mean? But especially in hip hop, I don't know. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It is because they always say that thin line between beat maker and producer, right?
Mm-hmm.
You know, songs getting shorter, quality getting less, quantity getting higher.
Man, it honestly sounds like a recipe for destruction.
God, yeah, it does though.
So if you now look at where hip hop is heading, I'll say this: hip hop is heading for a reset.
A reset. Talk to me about the reset.
Because if I adopt the view that what you just said, those three things,
Yeah.
right, which are absolutely true, is what's going on, then it can't sustain itself for that long. It's got to be a destruction, but it's going to be, but the love is still there.
Yeah.
There's going to be people to preserve, like you said before, preserve all of the basic tenets of hip hop. So it'll be, so there's going to be a reset. At some point, it's going to have to reset, and it's going to be a reset in terms of where the people that love, that was making music with integrity, and they was motivated by actually doing what they love and being creative, that is going to be on the upswing again. That's what I see. And just strictly jumping into something to monetize off of it, to basically pimp hip hop for another purpose is not going, that methodology ain't going to be able to sustain itself in the long run in the future.
I tell you
I
what.
think people are gonna demand more.
Yeah, I agree. I I think that first statement I made and what we talking about now, the songs are shorter, the quality is less, the quantity is higher, right?
Right.
It sounds pretty much like every other bubble that's happened in economics. Whether it was .com or housing or whatever, it sounds like any of those bubbles where eventually them shits crash. Because it's just like, it's just not a viable product. I do think it'll probably get commercialized to the point where it's only that to the masses.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like pop music is only a commercial to the masses at this point. And at a point, how long
Right.
has pop music back in the day was always just a commercial to the masses, to us.
Mm-hmm.
So why are we shocked that now that hip hop is the most popular genre in the world, that it's just it's becoming just a commercial for the masses? Like
Yeah.
that shouldn't shock us, But what we have to hope is once it's completely whitewashed and commercialized, that we've laid enough stakes that there's gonna be people that want to do the traditional part of it. It sounds like we back to the hip hop becoming jazz.
Yeah.
I think we had kind of talked ourselves out of that on one episode or
Yeah,
two.
we did.
Yeah, but now I feel like we just talked ourselves back into hip hop becoming jazz.
Me too.
Yeah. Well, the beauty is though, we're in an era where if it is jazz, the savvy have so many ways to be direct to consumer, so we ain't gonna be able. We'll at least have access to it.
Right. That's the good part.
Like underground is above ground. Everything is underground.
Right.
I don't give a damn how above ground you are. You see what I'm saying? Like you still gonna be where everybody else is.
Yeah.
So it's okay. You could be there, and the people that if you work at it, I think you can. It's enough out here for you to at least make a good living doing it.
Right.
If you with art, so that I'm good with that.
Yeah. Yeah. Me too.
And maybe from those people we'll get longer songs, like more artistic expressions
Right.
of
Right.
what they're trying to say.
Mm-hmm. I think so.
Yeah, I think so. I think so.
Yeah,
So what you
yeah.
think? You think we think we did enough on this one, bro?
Yeah, I think so, and I'm happy with where we concluded.
Me too. Me too. Because it could have went left, but I feel
Yeah.
like direct to consumer saved us.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Direct to consumer saved us all, bro.
Yeah.
You
Yes, I feel good about it.
I feel good too, bro. So that's what's up. Well, shit. With that being said, I'm gonna ask everybody to go to Facebook and Instagram and follow us at Conversate For A Few. Make sure to join the Conversate Few extended podcast convo group on Facebook. Follow us on YouTube. Subscribe to the Conversate For A Few YouTube channel, and make sure you hit the notification bell so you know when we drop episodes. Make sure you follow us on Apple Podcasts, subscribe there, on Google Podcasts, Stitcher, Spotify, Anchor, any way you can get a podcast, bro, we there. Stay tuned for the limited edition Futane Clan merch. Promise is coming. Stay tuned for the Futane notebook, the Conversate For A Few notebook. We gotta get started on that. We can't just keep talking about without getting started on it. We gotta get on that. But with that being said, I'm Jonna.
I'm Alan. This was not a podcast about classical music.
Absolutely was not. This is a podcast about hip hop. Make room for the tag.
Conversate for a few. Conversate for a few.
Hustle, Welcome, man, they had to send me. Hustle from Raleigh, live from NC with your hosts, John and Alan. Relate to the two. You are now listening to Conversate For A Few. Check it on SoundCloud, debate with your crew. They talking hip hop from the late to the new. From July till June end. No Fridays for me. Tune in. Please listen to this podcast. 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 Please listen to this podcast.